hand things over to Christy. Christy, please take it away.
All right, let me go ahead and share my screen here. Thank you so much for having me, Lori. I'm really excited to be here and to share a little bit about my journey to becoming a firefighter, as well as hopefully I can help others become firefighters. It wasn't a career that I thought that I was going to do. I went to school to become a teacher. I was a health and physical education major at St. Mary's College, and so I played soccer there. And I thought that I was going to go on and become a teacher. And when I started into teaching, it was great, but it was something was missing for me. So I started on a journey of trying different things. I ended up teaching at Diablo Valley College for a little while and coaching the women's soccer team there. I ended up dealing cards. I was a bartender for a while. I sold vacuums door to door in Stockton. I tried all kinds of things and I was really searching for something that I felt that I had a passion with. And I was taking some laundry into my roommate's room at the time, and there was a fire technology book there on the ground, and I saw it, and she told me she was taking a fire technology course. And so I decided that I would try that as well. And I really fell in love with the fire technology program. And I ended up going to the College of San Mateo, which is where I teach now. But I remember thinking that this was the job for me. It was active. It was part of a team. I could help people learn different skills. There were lots of different opportunities, and I was sold. So I started my journey towards becoming a firefighter at the College of San Mateo. Like I said, I took classes there. I also took classes at Los Medanos College, and I ended up getting a job with the city of Palo Alto. So I worked there for 24 years. And I have a family, and my two sons are interested in the fire service. This next slide, actually, okay. So I'm gonna switch around a little bit. I'm gonna tell you,
Okay.
I'm gonna show you a video, and this is why I was sold on the fire service. And then I'll talk to you a little bit about my sons and their journey as well. So this is a video of the College of San Mateo, their fire academy, and I just wanted to show you kind of why I was so passionate about this career and what sold me on it. So here it is.
I'm sorry, Christy. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Does
Uh-huh.
the video come with audio?
I'm sorry.
Does it have sound? Does the video have sound? Because we don't
Oh, it
hear.
doesn't have sound?
Yeah. Sorry about that. I had no idea whether this video had sound and didn't want to interrupt
Oh,
you.
oh,
Sorry.
okay. That's okay. So I'll keep going, and then they can connect it to the they can listen to it and watch it when they do the video if that's better.
Okay, no problem.
So let me go back here, and I'll go here, and then I'll start from current.
Now we can hear
So
the sound. We can
now
hear.
you can hear the
Yes,
sound.
yes, yes,
Do you want me to keep going with the video?
yes, please.
Okay.
Say I'll lose again, and I'll keep coming like a hurricane. 'Cause I know I'm gonna prove if I keep coming, I cannot lose. And I'm rolling like the thunder, pouring like the hardest rain. Baby, here I go. I'm out of control. You can't stop me, no. I'm gonna risk it all. Can you feel the fire? I'm gonna risk it all. I'm gonna let them fall. Play with fire. Play with fire. I'm gonna let it all. 'Cause it's in my blood. Play with fire. Play with fire. Fire ain't scaring me. I got ice in my veins, you see. Nothing's difficult. Nothing's difficult. Everything's a challenge. Everything's a challenge. Through adversity. Through adversity. We rise. We rise. To the last test. To the last test. To the last drill. To the last drill. To the last lap. To the last lap. To the last day. To the last day. We fight. We fight. We fight. We fight. We fight. We fight. I've got that lightning inside me, son of a god. I'm like a titan that's rising on just you watch. I'm stepping into fate. There is no time to waste. I've got that lightning inside me. This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made.
All right. Okay. No, can you hear me now still, Lori?
So we can hear you. Thank you.
Oh, great. Okay. So, so you guys watching the video, I apologize for the sound. But that's how I was sold, seeing the teamwork, solving problems, working with the tools, being active, all of that stuff, and then obviously getting paid for it was a real bonus. So I was sold. I felt like when I found firefighting, I actually had the job already, because I had been searching for so long, and I felt like the job was made for me. And so it was a real good fit for me. I ended up working for the city of Palo Alto for 24 years. And here's a picture of my son, who came to visit the fire station when he was little, and then he ended up becoming a Palo Alto firefighter, and we reenacted the picture here. So that's my son Dylan, and he is a Palo Alto firefighter, and we actually worked together for one day before I retired. So it was a real treat for me. So he actually went to the College of San Mateo as well through the program, and then my younger son also went through the program as well, and he's currently working on an ambulance, looking to get into the fire service. So it's a real family affair, and we love the fire service, and it's really given us the opportunity to give back to the community, and afford everything that we have in our lives. So we're truly grateful for this career. So let me see if I can show you guys, or show everybody, how to get into the fire service. So the minimum requirements to become a firefighter are you have to have a high school diploma or a GED. You have to be 18 years old or 21 years old by date of hire, a valid California driver's license, because you will be driving the fire engines, maybe not right away, which is probably best, but at some point. You have to have a clean background, a good driving record. And then a lot of people ask me about work authorization. There is no statewide rule. In order to be a firefighter, you have to each department sets its own policy. Many departments now allow green card holders, especially larger cities. The trend is moving towards the legal right to work instead of a strict citizenship. But obviously, not obviously, but the Bay Area can be tough, and it's better to go with the larger cities for that. So the first thing you want to do is start to take fire science classes. I took my first fire science class, and now I teach it, ironically, at the College of San Mateo. The first class is the introduction class for us, is Fire 715. And then we also encourage you to take a Fire Academy prep class. At the College of San Mateo, we have a really good community group that everybody kind of looks out for each other. We're kind of set on a little bit off of the not off of the campus, but in this one class, in this one area, and we everybody knows everybody. Everybody's looking out for each other. We all help each other study. It's a really good program there. So I don't know, does anybody remember who these people are? Depending on how old everybody is. This show is called Emergency. Back in the day, it was about the LA City Fire Department, and it is when paramedicine came into the fire service. And really, paramedic firefighters or fire engines responding to medical calls really saved the fire department. The fire department is one job or career that's really putting ourselves out of business with working very hard at fire prevention. There aren't very many fires anymore, and so we have moved into doing medical emergency calls. We're called first responders, and so fire departments are placed within the community, and so that we can get there first. And oftentimes people ask why the fire engine comes. That's why. And then what they did is that before, we used to have just EMTs on the fire engines, and they put paramedics on there so that they could get drugs going and intubate the patient faster, rather than waiting for the ambulance to get there. So that's kind of how the transformation of putting paramedics on engines came about. So after you become an EMT or a paramedic, you want to go to a fire academy. The fire academy at CSM is a little bit unique in that the San Mateo County fire departments put their new hires into our fire academy. So our academy is teaching people who are hired and people who are trying to get hired in the same academy. So what's great about that is that it's really a 16-week interview for the folks that aren't hired, because the fire chiefs and the fire departments are coming by, checking on their recruits and looking for others. So it's a really good opportunity to get into the fire service. And we're actually the only fire academy that is fully integrated with the county that we serve. So you can become a cadet after you go through the fire academy. And basically what that is you're going to do 48 to 60 hours at a fire station. It's a volunteer. It's not a volunteer department. You're just volunteering your time. And so what's great about that is you're going to learn the fire culture. So you'll be staying the night at the firehouse. You'll learn to cook, hopefully. And you'll learn the ins and outs of the fire culture life, as well as running calls with the firefighters. You're going to build a competitive resume. You want to make sure that you get lots of things on there, like you can do some wildland training, go to some hazardous materials classes. You get your FRA or FRO, do some technical rescue. You really want to make your resume as broad and as wide as you can, and all along while getting life experience and experiencing that. It's one of the only, it's one of the only careers where you go to your first station and then now you're living with people, right, that you just met. So it's unique in that. And so having life experience and patience and learning about compromise, all those things are really great about when you live in the firehouse. So then you start applying to different fire departments. There's a program called the Firefighter Candidate Testing Center. You'll go there. How that works is fire departments pay a fee. So you go to the FCTC and you'll take an exam, a written exam, and then the fire departments will apply to FCTC, ask them for the results of those exams, and then they'll get you on a list and they'll contact you to do your oral board for getting hired with their department. After you start to apply to the departments and you pass that written exam, you're also going to take a physical exam where you're going to be pulling hoses and putting on SCBA and crawling through tunnels, and that's also given through the FCTC as we spoke about earlier, and that test is called the CPAT. So after you do all those things, the fire departments that are hiring pull your name off of a list. They see that you have a good written score, you have a good you've passed your physical agility test, and they're going to call you in for an oral board. So they're going to ask you some questions, and you're going to sit in front of them like this gentleman is here. Everybody on one side, you're on the other. They're going to ask you some questions, and you're going to have to answer those under pressure. Now, being a firefighter is obviously there's a lot of pressure. People are depending on you to save their lives. So they want to see how you react and if you're professional. And it's really a professional interview. So you want to dress as such. The next part you're going to do is a chief's interview. So the chief will, after you take that initial interview, you'll go in and they'll have a list. The chief will have a list, and he'll interview, or he or she will interview people and ask additional questions. So, for example, a chief's interview question may be, let's see, for me, it was I want to know everything about you, and I don't want to hear anything on your resume. So we put everything important on our resumes, but it was, so I spoke a little bit about my work ethic and how dedicated I was and so forth. So chief's oral interview questions can be a little bit, they're different. You're going to interview, your first interview is going to be with the line personnel, and then the chief's going to decide really how you're going to help out the department and make it better. So if they give you a job offer, then you're going to go through a background investigation. They're going to go through your work history, your driving history, your social media, your references, They're gonna dig into everything that they can to make sure you're saying who you are, and you obviously don't want to lie on your background investigation. Then they're going to do a medical and a psychological exam to rule out any injuries or any, and they're going to do a psychological exam. And then oftentimes they'll do a lie detector as well. After you've been placed on the eligibility list, then they'll go ahead and offer you a job, which is great. And then that's kind of where the training starts. So for us in San Mateo County, we have already, folks have already been through the fire academy because, like I said, some of them were hired and some of them were not. In other departments, they're going to send you through a fire academy next. So after you receive that conditional job offer. So this is the San Francisco Firefighting School. Even after you went through the San Mateo, larger cities or cities that are not in San Mateo County are going to put you through another fire academy. So you're going to learn about about the department. It's in specific. So San Francisco, if you were hired through San Francisco, they hire about 50 in their academy. You'll learn about their equipment. For example, in San Mateo County, they have metal ladders, and in San Francisco they still use traditional wood ladders. So lots of differences, although mostly kind of the same, if you will. Let's go on here. Then you'll go through a probation. A probation is you're going to get tested on a monthly basis. They're going to evaluate you on your skills. They're going to talk to your training officer, make sure you have a good attitude, a good work ethic. They do it for 12 to 24 months because it's really hard to pretend for that long. So they're really going to see the true work ethic that you have. You have to be confident in all of your testing. In some departments, you could become a driver. In San Francisco, they teach their probationary firefighters how to drive. And so you walk into the firehouse one day and they say, you're going to be driving today. And so you are the driver. In other departments, oftentimes smaller departments, in Palo Alto, it was a promotion to become a driver. So we went through a number of tests and so forth to get a different badge to become a driver, where in San Francisco, everybody's a driver. So a little bit different. Then you're going to continue your career development after you get off probation. After that 24 months or 12 months, depending on the department, you can become an engineer, like I just spoke of in Palo Alto. You can become a captain. You probably want to wait for that, get some experience running calls and being a firefighter. You could become a paramedic, or if you were a paramedic before you got hired, you could still promote into the captain's position, or in San Francisco, it's a lieutenant and then captain. You could go into training and help other firefighters in the fire academy or in the training division, or you could go into prevention. You could also go into hazmat or do rescue systems calls, rope rescue or trench rescue or high angle rescue. That's one of the things that I was really drawn to the fire service about, because there were lots of different avenues that I could go into. I happened to go into hazmat. I became a hazmat specialist. And so I spent time on our hazmat rig in Palo Alto. It was great. It was fun. We did a lot of rescues. Since we're such a small department, we were part of the rescue and part of hazmat. And so we would run a lot of different calls, use the jaws of life and, all of our rescue equipment and so forth. So it was great for me. Here's the reality check. Getting hired is competitive, especially in California. Your paramedic license is going to help you, definitely. We need paramedics in California. So if you have the opportunity to do that, it's a 1-year program. You have to become an EMT before you become a paramedic. So you become an EMT, which is a semester-long course. And then you're going to do 6 months as an EMT on an ambulance, and then you have the opportunity to go to paramedic school. You want to make sure you have strong interview skills. Those can, you can work on those. We teach a class at CSM, and it's called, it's Fire 770. It's interview prep class. So if that's something that you're interested in, it meets 1 day a week for 3 hours, and we do lots of interviews. We go over how to really everything that I've done in this presentation. So how to become a firefighter. So real world experience, volunteering in a department or becoming a reserve, or, like I said, working on an ambulance, super important. Those real world experiences are going to give you that life experience that you need to live in that firehouse. And then your professional reputation and networking. So who you know is really important, not necessarily to get the job, but really to help you along your path. So, sit down with you for oral board questions, maybe show you some workout routines that you could do before you became a firefighter, work on your resume, or just those are really good. It's no different than any other job. Having those networking and those people to help you along the way is really important. One of the benefits of becoming a firefighter is the total compensation can reach, you start out around $100,000 a year. What's nice about that is that, you have the opportunity to become a firefighter after a 2-year degree, right? An AS degree. You're still going to be pretty young depending on when you started that. I started my career at the College of San Mateo to become a firefighter when I was 28 years old, and I got hired when I was 30, which is very, very quickly, but it can be done. And I had a lot of life experience, so that was really helpful for me. But total compensation with benefits and medical and everything can reach up to about $250,000 in the Bay Area. So here's the average starting salary for San Mateo County. Like I just said, you're going to start out anywhere from 117 to 146,000. And you get different incentives if you have a degree, sometimes EMT or paramedic pay. There's overtime, so lots of different things. We could tell people all this stuff about becoming a firefighter and how great it is and the money and all this good stuff, and still people don't want to run into a burning building. So there is some challenges with the job, responding on people who are sick and sick children. It can have an impact and it can take a toll on you. So the money's great, but I think it's worth it. It's worth every dime. So here's 10 entry-level jobs that you can get out of the fire academy when you graduate from the fire academy. You can work as an EMT. San Francisco Fire Department has a wonderful EMT program. In fact, the EMT program in San Francisco, you start out around $100,000 as well. And it's kind of the training that they use, and then they'll, you can apply for the suppression side. So it's a really good way to get into the San Francisco Fire Department if that's a department that you're interested in. South San Francisco Fire Department also has EMT ambulances that you can work on. AMR, Royal Ambulance, Falck, there's a number of them out there. You'll start out as what's called interfacility transport, or IFT, and you'll be moving people from, let's say that somebody needed to go to a dialysis appointment. You would help those folks get to their appointments and back. And so you're learning just how to talk to patients and how to move patients. And that's kind of where you start. And then you start running calls, and you're going to probably run calls that are BLS, which are basic life support calls. And then you're going to move into the ALS calls, which are advanced life support, which you're going to be working with the paramedics. So there's a definite step that you do in order to work on an ambulance. And I think it's really great because you start out slow and then move into something a little bit more advanced. You can become a cadet. A cadet is we talked about a little bit earlier. You're going to do 24 to 60 hours, depending on what is required of the cadet program that you apply to. Different departments that have cadet programs: Central County Fire, San Mateo Consolidated, Redwood City, Menlo Park, San Bruno. Those are different departments that have cadet programs. For me, I think it's important that you go through a fire academy before you become a cadet. Now, they do offer cadet programs that do not require your fire academy first, but I think it's important to know the tools and everything that you're going to be using, and that you are there to help out the crew. And again, that's just a personal opinion. So there are a lot of people that go through the cadet program without doing their firefighter academy first. Wildland firefighting is always an option. CAL FIRE, I'm sure you've heard of, U.S. Forest Service, Bureau of Land Management also. These jobs are seasonal, and so you'll get hired. Last year they hired in March and April, and then you'll go through the fire season. The fire season is really getting going, in about September, October, when everything has been dried out from June and July and August. So all of our foliage and trees and everything is dried out, and now it's and unfortunately the winds pick up in the fall, and that makes it a prime season for fire season. So you'll be a seasonal firefighter from April through October, November, sometimes December, which the only problem with being a seasonal firefighter is it doesn't line up with the schedule for school if you're taking college courses. So, but really great experience. You're going to see a lot of fire. You'll be gone pretty much all summer. And it's a really, really good opportunity to work for CAL FIRE or a seasonal firefighter position. Volunteer firefighter in San Mateo County. There's departments that don't have their own fire service, and so they use volunteers. It's volunteer because it's the people usually in the community who are coming together to become the fire department when they don't necessarily have a full-time fire department. So in Kings Mountain, there's one, La Honda, Loma Mar. Those are all volunteer departments within San Mateo County. And so that there's another opportunity for you to get some fire experience. And if you live in those communities, it's an opportunity for you to run calls on your neighbor or help out in your own community. So here's another position that you can get to, an ER tech, that you can get experience. You can be an ER tech with an EMT license. Some different employers: Stanford Healthcare, Kaiser. They all need ER techs. Those are the folks that are helping out in the ER that aren't necessarily doctors or nurses, but you will get a lot of experience and see lots of patients and get lots of patient contacts and learn how to communicate with people and get some really good hands-on experience. Becoming a firefighter or an EMT is something you can do after you've been through the fire academy. Obviously, that's the goal. And so, that would be the ultimate goal, to become an EMT firefighter or a paramedic firefighter. You could become an industrial firefighter or private firefighter. Chevron hires firefighters, and also Tesla, I know, has a small fire department. Those are different places that you could go that aren't necessarily municipal fire departments or city fire departments. The refineries have their own fire departments. I know in Richmond, the Richmond Fire Department works directly with the Chevron Fire Department, so that's also an option. Fire or hand crews. Those, again, working for CAL FIRE, you could be a hand crew. That's going to be cutting line and working to put out those wildland fires. Also through the National Park Service, you can do that as well. And they have fuel management or fuel reduction teams that go out and cut down bushes and stuff before the fire starts. So a little bit more on the prevention side. Another thing you can do is a military firefighter, work for the Air Force. The Navy has shipboard firefighters that you could do. Obviously, you have to join the military in order to do that. But if that's something that you're interested in, they definitely have those opportunities in the military. The last one I have is the Fire Prevention Bureau you can get into. You could be a fire prevention aide, an inspector, do fire safety technician, a lot of different departments. All fire departments have a fire prevention bureau. If you weren't interested in fighting fires, it's a great opportunity for you to become a part of the fire service. The money is just as good, and you receive benefits. You're just not running into burning buildings. You're finding out how they started. There's an investigations unit, and then trying to prevent fires in the community. The goal here that we all talk about when we become firefighters is get a big truck and a boat. So I wanted to end it there and see if anybody had any questions.
I see Kyle just put in a message in the chat. They wrote, more of a CSM curated question. If I want to take an NREMT no later than summer of 2027, would you recommend I take Fire 715 at CSM and then the EMT prep course in the spring semester?
Yes.
For time, and they said that they're a senior in high school right now and want to hopefully hop onto a box with AMR, get like PM a little further down the road, then try to get into local fire department.
Perfect. That is the plan. Yes. Fire 715, then take the pre-EMT class to prep you for the EMT class, which you'll take. And then you have one more additional fire technology course. So during Fire 715, I would take an additional 3-unit fire technology course. And then after you take your pre-EMT and then you take your EMT, you'll be ready for the Fire Academy.
Thank you, Christy. Just want to remind everybody, try to put your question in the Q&A. It's okay if you put it in the chat, but it's helpful that you put it in Q&A, and everybody else will be able to see your question. I don't see another question from the audience. While we wait, I have a question for you, Christy. What are some common misconceptions people have about careers in firefighting and emergency response? For example, ideas shaped by TV or movies, and how do those differ from the day-to-day realities of the job, including the types of calls you respond to, the level of medical care involved, and the importance of teamwork and ongoing training?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, one of the misconceptions that we kind of laugh at is that why does it take 3 people to go shopping? And the reason is because we don't want to run back and get all of our equipment if something bad happens while we're shopping. So, and we do pay for all of our own food. That is another misconception that people that a lot of times that I get asked those questions. So, as far as calls go, and we don't sit in the fire station and wait for calls. We have a number of things that we have to do annually and biannually. We have lots of training that we have to do. We have cadets that come into our stations that we train. We have new hires that we train. We are always out in the community looking at different buildings and looking at different areas that it's called pre-fire planning. So we want to see that building before it catches on fire. We're going to do some information and gather information as far as we're also assigned different inspections. So we have to go out into the community and inspect buildings to make sure they're safe and fill out documentation and send that to the Fire Prevention Bureau. So there's not a whole lot of sitting down and relaxing. We do work 24-hour shifts, 48-hour shifts in most departments. We work 2 on, 4 off. And so while we are working, we do sleep if we don't get calls, but all the while we drop everything that we're doing in order to go and run those different calls. So sometimes it's hard to predict what kind of calls we're going to go on. We try to do lots and lots of training and predict if we can to make sure that we're ready. But, you never know what you're going to be responding on. And, our response time is from 3 to 5 minutes. So, one of the key things that is detrimental to our health is our heart, because we go from sleeping to running to the gym basically and working out. So that's kind of what it's like to go on a call or go on a fire in the middle of the night when you're sleeping. So it can be really detrimental to your health. That's why we try to eat good. We try to make sure we work out. Drink lots of water, be prepared at all times for that. In fact, when I retired, I didn't realize how prepared I was, that I was always thinking like we were going to, the bells were going to go off until I was at home. And then I was like, oh, well, the bells aren't going to go off. So, it was an opportunity for me to relax for the first time, in 24 years. So it was kind of weird for me to do that. Let's see. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much, Christy. I see 2 questions from the audience. The first one is, just to clarify, we need to be paramedic to apply to join the fire academy, or they need to be EMTs to apply for the fire academy?
EMT.
Oh, EMT. Okay. Got it. Okay. The second question is, if I'm still unsure if I want to go into emergency services, would the Fire 715 class be a good start to test the waters?
Yes. That's I took a wildland firefighting class just to see if it was something that I liked, because I didn't know either, as I spoke to you a little bit about all the things I tried. But Fire 715 is an introduction class. We cover everything in that class, and I teach it. So it would be great if you were on this program and then I got to meet you later. So, but we do touch on everything and talk about lots of stuff, hoses and ladders and calls and volunteer and cadets and hazmat and rope rescue. And it covers really everything. There's no real hands-on in that class. It's a lecture class, but it will answer all of your questions. So, and like I said, it will be me answering those questions. So I'd love to have you.
Thank you, Christy. I don't see another question from the audience. While we wait, I have another question for you. Mm-hmm. How competitive it is? How competitive is the admission to the Fire Academy?
At CSM?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty competitive, but what's great about it is that, like I said, that community that we have, everyone's looking out for each other. There is a pre-academy class that we do that's it's very fitness involved, and you will see if you were doing well in that class, you were probably ready for the Fire Academy. So we try to mirror the physical fitness. We start out slow in the beginning, and then we get by the end, we're working out. There's some days that you'll work out with the Fire Academy, and so you can kind of test the waters and see if that's something that you're ready for. And that's really helped people not go into the fire service who aren't ready. So before, when you say to somebody, are you make sure you're really fit, make sure you're physically fit, and that you can do the Fire Academy. But everybody's physically fit is much different. And so this class has really outlined what it takes to really be successful in the Fire Academy as far as the fitness goes.
Okay. And what is the average age of student who enroll in the Fire Academy?
I would probably say it is probably 21, 22.
Okay. Got it.
Folks come to us when they're about 18, right? And they take their first fire science class. And we encourage people to get their AS degree. So take your math, English and all that good stuff too. In fact, I really encourage people to go and get their 4-year degree and go and, give some life experience. So, and you can do that at a 4-year college. You learn to live with somebody and learn to live away from home and all, learn how to, pay bills on your own and all the good stuff. So that we all learned when we moved away, and then, come back and maybe finish up with a fire academy. Now there's no direct route to the, and people do it different all the time. And so, some people go right into the fire academy and then go into Cal Fire or seasonal, or go to paramedic school, or, become a cadet. So there's lots of different routes to becoming a firefighter. And so just one of those routes is to get your degree at a 4-year college. And, we encourage that as well. So education's great.
Thank you so much. I see 2 questions from the audience. The first one, would you recommend an introvert person to apply for firefighter?
Yeah, there's room for a lot of people in the fire service. There are some people that are not as outgoing as everybody. In my classes, it's funny. They tend to come out of their shell, if you will. We do some small group activities and get to know everybody in the class. So I don't think that you have to be, crazy gung ho, lots of energy, and in order to be a good firefighter. We respond on introverts, right? We respond on everybody. So there is room for everybody in the fire service, because we are going to be responding on all different types of people. So, so we encourage everybody to be in the fire service. So I hope that answered your question.
Thank you, Christy. Second question is, what was the most rewarding aspect of firefighting for you?
Oh, that's a good question. The most rewarding, I think that, I didn't really talk. I have been at the College of San Mateo for 27 years. And while I was a firefighter, I was working at the College of San Mateo, obviously concurrently, and now I've kept going with teaching. And I think that I would get cadets, and I would get new people who are new hires, and to see them succeed and get hired places, and start a family, and I felt like I was changing people's lives. And that's the best part about the program that I'm part of now, is that that's just an extension of that as far as that goes. We did run some pretty crazy calls, and we've saved some people. But that would probably be the most rewarding thing for me, is to see others succeed. So I'm fortunate to be where I am and be able to keep doing that. And even though I've retired from the fire service, so.
Thank you so much. That's the last question we have from the audience. If anyone wants to ask the question directly, please feel free to raise your hand and I can unmute you. Or you're also welcome to put it in the Q&A too. If we don't have any last minute question, I want to take the time to thank Christy. Thank you so much, Christy, for sharing your experience and insights with us tonight. We really appreciate your time and all the valuable information you provided. I have no idea there's so many different opportunities in firefight. I didn't know that there were private firefighters hired by companies. Thank you so much. I also want to thank everyone who joined us tonight. I hope you find the program helpful and inspiring. Just a reminder, I will be sending out a quick survey along with today's presentation recording to you guys later tonight or tomorrow morning. Your feedback really matters to us, so we love it if you could take a moment to share your thoughts and help us make future session even better. Let me quickly take a look at the chat. Um, oh, I see a comment in the chat that an audience asked Christy to have your children share if you were the inspiration for them joining the fire service. Thank you
If
so
I was
much.
an inspiration?
Yes, they want you to have your children share whether you were the inspiration for them joining the fire service.
Yeah, I think so. I was the first firefighter in my family. I didn't have a parent who was a firefighter. And they were so lucky to have it because they got to start early. We would sit at the table and answer oral board questions when they were in elementary school because they wanted to. They always wanted to hear about my calls. And, they literally grew up at the firehouse when we would have, Christmas or Thanksgiving when I was working or anything. So, having that background and being able to, ride on the fire engine now on their own, it's pretty great to see them. It's very, very rewarding for me, and they seem very happy. So I'm very fortunate.
Thank you, Christy. I see one last question in the Q&A. Question is there a certain time frame San Mateo Fire opens application?
It's a course. It's Fire 722. So you do the prerequisites and then you turn in your prerequisites and then you are able to get into the fire academy. So it's no different really. You have to turn in your prerequisites, but it's just a college course at the College of San Mateo. So
got it. Thank you so much, Christy. And with that, I want to wish everybody a wonderful rest of your evening. Bye-bye
thank you
now.
so much.
Thank you.